A, professional services, a new license, Mr. Michael Carroll, doing business as Palm Tree, the address 755 Broad Street, and we have the information in the packet.
Is the gentleman in the audience?
He is not. I'm his attorney. I'm Andrew Kagan.
Well, I guess you can step forward. We were hoping to have the actual applicant here tonight. You can speak on his behalf, but we will have to consider that Mr. Crowe did not show up himself.
I was told that he did not have to appear. The clerk had told me that, or the clerk's officer told me that.
Okay, state your case.
Mr. Carroll intends to open a massage therapy office on Broad Street at 753 Broad Street. He does have a license, which is a massage therapist who would be on the site whenever the massage parlor is open, the massage therapy office is open. He has conducted this business without any expenses in the state of Connecticut. And he also doing business in Central Falls.
There's a number of questions that I personally will ask, and I'm sure others, yeah, I'm going to make a motion to open a discussion on this license. Have a motion to approve. Have a motion by Ann.
Second.
Second by Stephanie. Now I'll open up discussion. If my colleagues don't mind, I'll begin. The only gentleman with this license will be Mr. Michael himself,
Yes, that is correct.
and he's going to be there from 9 a.m. to closing at midnight, 7 days a week.
Well, he will have a licensed massage therapist always present he must at the site. He will not necessarily be always at the site.
And the name is Palm Tree?
Yes.
Is that name registered with the state of Rhode Island?
I did not believe this.
Matt, we've done some research, correct?
I did check to see if Palm Tree was registered with the Secretary of State's office, and there is no Palm Tree registered. However, there are two other Palm Tree businesses registered in section 12(1)D of the code states that you can't register a business with another business's name unless you have approval from that company, right?
You would not have an objection to another name.
Well, I don't believe we can approve it yet tonight with that name. There are other myriad of questions also, but I'll turn it over to fellow council members with any further questions, which I'm sure we may have. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Well, I have a question about, or I'm a little concerned in terms of the hours of operation, considering that we're a very small city, so we're very residential everywhere. And so I guess I'd like more information as to why Mr. Caro feels that the business should be open till midnight. And I know you perhaps can't answer that for me, but I am a little hesitant to approve this.
If I may ask, what hours would you consider more appropriate?
I really haven't thought about that. To me, 7 or 8 p.m., and I don't know what other massage therapy places use in terms of hours of operations, but anything past 9 or 10 seems strange to me, given the nature of the business.
And to that point, the number of days, 7 days a week, seems quite extensive as well. Have a business open 7 days a week. Other than a restaurant, there's no other business in the city that's open 7 days a week. So back to Stephanie's point, our lifestyle, we have primarily residential area, and just seems like it should be excessive for that type of a business.
Would you prefer we not be open on Sundays, is that what you're asking? Or?
I like to, I'm sorry, Steph, go ahead. I think you should cut the number of days and the hours. But my concern right now, number one, is the name.
Yeah.
You have to get the name properly registered first before you can take step two. And then I think we can discuss the days and the hours of operation. I think that's just one of a couple of concerns, if you could relay to your client, and we would appreciate him being here. Now, his residence is Connecticut,
His residence is Connecticut.
so he's coming from Connecticut each day
Yes.
to be open from 9 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week.
He's not.
Or he's planning on getting some help?
He's getting plenty of getting help. He must have a licensed massage therapist on the premises.
Absolutely. It can't just be his license on the
Well,
wall.
clearly.
But again, I think the first hurdle here, as his attorney, is a name change. That has to be, as Matt said, it has to be registered with the Secretary of State, whatever name he chooses.
Mr. Chair, and I also have another question. I'd like some more information about his current business as well. How long he's been in business, if he's, you know, what, is it one location, how many masseuses he has, how many, if he's had any issues in, where is it in Connecticut? Jewett City in Connecticut, yeah, just a little bit more information from the individual. It would be nice to actually meet him as well. You know, if you do appear again with another business name, it would be nice to meet him as well.
I have a question.
Yes, Tim?
On our petition for license, we have two different spellings for his last name. Could you please correct that for us?
Hold on one second, please. The correct spelling is Michael, S-K-A-R-O-W.
If I may ask a question, on this application, is that something that would be filled out by the person who's petitioning the license, or is that by the clerk's office?
That was, the application is filled out by the person who requests the petition. Usually, the class of license, the box says class of license, and the date at the top, or any check marks at the top will be where our office will enter information, and also in the back, it's entered by the other offices, but the information, demographic information is all filled out by the applicant.
Okay, so I'm very concerned with the fact that he filled out the application with one spelling of the last name and signed with the second spelling. It's clear that this begins with a C, where he filled out his information, and it is with a K in his signature.
I would like to add that, for the councilman's point, I looked up this address in Jewett City, Connecticut, on the Griswold, Connecticut tax assessor website, and neither of the two applicants on this piece of paper were registered to that house. There's the owner's name is Darlene Harrisow, so I think that clarification should be made. Is he a resident at that address, or is he a resident at another address?
Well, what you looked up, is that the assessors tax rolls, or?
Correct.
Okay, I will have him here at the next meeting, so we'll clarify that. I don't know, that doesn't, he may very well live there and not own the property, so we'll clarify that. So,
I have a couple more questions.
Yes.
Is your client himself a registered massage therapist?
he is not.
And do you have any idea how many licensed massage therapists he plans on having on staff at this location?
I know right now he has one licensed massage therapist who would be at this location. I don't know what his ultimate plans are.
unanswered questions, we'll definitely need to see him.
And I have another question as well. Would it be appropriate to also ask the major, since he's in the room, if he has any questions while we have somebody here, if we're gonna call the applicant before us?
Yeah, I think we're putting a cart before the horse. I think this item should perhaps be tabled tonight, and then have the gentleman that's going to operate this come in with you, and then we can take it further. But for tonight, I think there's too many unanswered questions to go any further. I think we should probably table it, but, so I guess, Mr. Attorney, you're aware of the major items?
Right, what I
From a name change to hours of operation, to the number of masseuses on duty.
Number of days.
That's for a start, so I would hope that you would come in with your client when we act on this, which would probably be the next meeting. Matt?
I would just like to add that 4 short months prior to the application pending before this council, the last city council revoked the license of another supposed massage therapy operation at 753 Broad Street, finding violations of the zoning ordinance, finding drug paraphernalia, and finding significant violations of the law. And I think your client owes a duty to this city council to explain its relationship to the prior
There
owner.
is no relationship.
Your client owes a duty to explain, if there is a prior relationship, what exactly the nature of the business will be at this address, and your knowledge of the prior violations and what you'll do to ensure that those don't happen again.
Your question is well taken. I can assure you there is absolutely no prior, we are aware of the previous business there. We have absolutely no relationship to them whatsoever.
I was just curious, did you know how your client knew that the previous dwelling was a so-called massage parlor? How did he know there was one available?
He knew it from the landlord.
Mr. Sousa?
Yes.
You wouldn't happen to know his address, would you? It's got Spartan Enterprises. Do you know where they're out of? Do you know anything about the owner? Does the city know Spartan Enterprise? So he,
Joe Sousa's office is in Central.
is he, how did your client know that?
I don't know how they knew each other, but I do know that that's how he found the location.
It's pretty interesting how someone from Connecticut would know that we had a location here in Central Falls. That's a little puzzling also, but I guess your client could answer that best. Any further questions?
Well, the other thing was, I believe in the previous business that was in that location, from what I remember, maybe you can speak to it better, that there was also an issue with the property management company. So the owner, yeah, so.
Spartan Enterprises is
Right.
the listed owner.
Spartan Enterprises was the property management company.
At that time also, I assume Joe Sousa, was that the gentleman's name? And he-
It wasn't.
Yeah. So these are some of the unanswered questions. I don't think we mean to be difficult with you, but
I understand.
it's very important in light of the fact that what happened there with the previous owners.
If I may ask, what was the issue with the property management?
Well, I can't really speak to it too much because I wasn't on the council at that time, but I was in the audience as a resident, and there were some issues, so in other words, there were problems, as the solicitor said, and neither party were taking responsibility for how these things happened. So the owner was putting it on the property management company, and the property management company was sort of, saying it was, well, the owner wasn't around, blah, 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 blah. So we just don't want to get into that sort of push and pull again as well. We want to make sure because obviously, the new business owner wouldn't own the property. So what's that going to be, that relationship, so that doesn't happen again? So we make sure that what the business is saying it's going to do is what it's going to do, and the person who owns the building is going to ensure that. So that's another question for us.
What areas of responsibility would you ask that the business owner take?
Well, that the business do what the business says it's going to do because they're renting to the business. So they were doing illegal activity, as the solicitor said. So as a property manager, they have some culpability because they are going there, they should be expecting to have a certain type of business there, and clearly that's not what was going on. There were people living there, there were people having illegal drug activity.
Would you like, would it be helpful if Mr. Souza appeared also?
I personally think, yeah, he's local, is that what
He's
you
very
said? Yeah, I
local.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
So these are the issues that you could relate to your client, and if there's no further questions, I'll be looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
No, Tom, you can't speak on this. Looking for a
requesting a
motion.
public hearing on every license. Is the
We're
public
the
gonna be
licensing body,
allowed,
Tom, this is not a public hearing. This is
will the
for a
public be
license,
allowed to address it
not at this time.
at the next
Look-
meeting?
Looking for a motion,
So we'll,
a motion by Stephanie to table. Ann?
second.
We have a motion by Stephanie, seconded by Ann. All in favor to table this particular application, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. No nays. Chair votes aye. So moved.
So what,
We will notify you, perhaps it would be the next regular meeting, which would be the second Monday in March. Next item,
do
Madam
you know,
Clerk.
do you know where to reach from?
If the information on the application is correct, if not, you can.
I don't know if my name is on the application.
Thank you. The next item is 10B, general service